the regular Merrill Enrichment Center Committee meeting for January 18th, 2024. Is anyone joining us by phone?
Jennifer Clark cannot join us by
Okay.
phone. No.
Okay. Maybe we'll just, does everyone know who everyone is?
Yes.
Okay, yes. All right, so.
I don't hear the beep on.
No, somebody, I did hear a ding in,
Okay,
but
so it's,
we can't.
Yep, so, all right. Consent items. Did everyone have a chance to look at the meeting minutes?
I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 23rd.
I'll second that motion.
Sharon, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion granted. Approval of the December 23rd, 24 vouchers. They are available. Would you like to look at those, Sharon, at all? Or?
I think
I
we
mean,
have.
we have two people, but they're welcome.
Yeah,
I'll still look at them.
Yeah, make a motion to place those vouchers on file.
Okay, second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion granted. All right, public comment. Anyone like to comment from the public? Any members have anything they'd like to share from the public?
Well, I could share something, but it doesn't really have to do with the Enrichment Center, I don't think. I went on the Christmas tour to see the homes, to vote for the homes, for the Christmas
Outside
decorations.
Mhm.
And it was absolutely fantastic. And our bus, there were 25 people, they had 3 buses. So there were 75 people, and I guess they had like 150 some signed up. And only 75
Transit commission in there.
had a chance to do it, right. So our bus, somebody threw out the idea and everybody else said, yeah, that's a great idea. So I took it to Rick Blake because he was having a meeting with the transit department. And I said, the consensus is on our bus was, you need to have a second night. You know, because they were great and so many people missed out on them. And I'm happy to say my 2 took first in place, first and second, 2 I voted for first and second. But it would be nice if more businesses got involved because there was only 3 this year and only 3 last year. So, you know, they'll all three win, you know, first, second, or third. But it'd be nice if some more of the businesses would get involved because the tour was great and the drivers did a fantastic job. It took about, right about 3 hours.
Wow,
But,
that
I
long.
mean,
Wow, that is a
I
lot.
found places in Merrill I never knew existed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you're saying they had double the sign up for what they
Yeah.
could do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did take it to the
Definitely
I
transportation.
shouldn't advertise it as
Was
well.
that, was
And
that
they
a
did-
cost for that?
No.
No,
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
the-
I know it was brought
And they-
up at the December meeting.
And they give you a little bag of candy.
Do they?
Yes.
Wow,
And they picked you
that's
up-
worth the
they
sign
picked
up
you
right
at
there.
your house.
You're
Picked
traveling.
everybody up home, which was nice.
Would that be something you'd want to do with your bus to take along with that?
I mean, we could, but we'd be paying a driver and, yeah, so we could entertain it, but we only can fit 15. But it's 15 more than,
Right.
you know.
Well, hopefully the transportation board will see the,
I think they did from
Yeah.
being in attendance.
It was a driver shortage at the time, well, it still is, but
Oh,
Yeah.
why they,
But I know the board's gonna be kicking around a few ideas for next year, considering
participation.
the overwhelming
Popularity.
participation wattage for it, so.
plus it gets people familiar with what's. you
Well,
know,
the 2 nights is a good idea.
Yeah.
it really is a good, because there were so many more. I mean,
Yeah.
I took 3 different friends out on 3 different nights
Mm-hmm.
and found some places that we hadn't seen on
Yeah.
the tour and took them to some of the places that were on the tour
Yeah.
because they were so great.
Mhm.
There was only this one that I couldn't find because I had no clue where I was.
Golf drive.
I have no idea where I was. But it was
That was
some,
actually hard.
It was
it
actually
was
in Thomas
such a
Compton,
large
so we
residence
didn't go up there.
and they had so much land, it looked like an estate. And the whole frontage was decorated.
Oh, cool.
And it was just gorgeous, but I don't remember where it was. I couldn't find it.
Well, that's good. That's good for our city too, to have
It is.
things like that.
No, I never thought about your idea. That's something to kick around next year
Yeah.
or at the end of the year.
Thanks for that. Anything else? Okay. Operations, Christmas Joy recap.
So just a quick recap, we've talked already about most of what we served and ordered for the people, but we ended up delivering 53 meals and gift boxes, meals/gift boxes, and then there were 4 pickups. And it went really well. It was, I think Sharon, you came in and saved us a little bit, didn't you? She dropped in, it was just the 3 of us because you always think you have it pretty, everything was pretty good.
Organized, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, time snuck up on us, and we were like, okay, so here we are. And Sharon just happened to walk in. She goes, do you need help? And we're like, yes, we do. Thank you.
How many
These boxes
were
and these
picked?
bags.
4 pickup, 53 to serve. Yes. So it went really well. We did not have the sit-down meal. Instead, what we did, because what we noticed is a lot of the people who came to our sit-down meal are our regular participants. So what we did for the last week prior to that is we treated them every day with a lot of, Mr. Blair's delicious cookies that he brings every year. We made some hot apple cranberry cider. We had a bunch of treats for them for that week. And they were extremely appreciative. And we made a little sign that said, we appreciate you and appreciate you coming all the time and supporting the MEC. And they were really excited about that. You would have honestly thought you gave them like a fair amount of money, but it's the simple stuff, right? It's a simple appreciation.
Yeah.
So we really like that. It's not that we didn't like having a big, event also, but again, with events and payroll and all of these things, it gets to be a little challenging. So we found our way around that. So everything went really well.
I have a few dumb questions, just dumb little ones. How much does it cost a person to get a meal or a gift box?
Nothing.
Nothing. And how much are we putting into it, like cost-wise?
Well, on the, wherever
Do you
the
need this?
things are.
I'm just out of curiosity for each box.
So our volunteer quilters make a lot of the gifts that get sent out. The mints you asked about, if we'd use those, the mints go in those boxes. Essentials.
5,000 or whatever.
We
you
buy
bought
like.
when I first got on the board.
Yeah, and the box is almost gone. And so we do hand lotion, we do chapstick, we do things that they're sitting at home, a lot of these people not getting out. And the meal came from County Market again, the ham and beans, and we get a gift card each year from Quick Trip. This past year was 100, the prior year was 200. So we buy all the apples, oranges, and potatoes from them, anything that we can buy from them. So essentially that's free. So it's minimal. It's not.
Very minimal. Okay,
it's-
I
yep.
just want to make sure that we're cost-effective wise, and we're giving it out to free for a lot of these people, so there's minor costs towards it. But,
Minor cost because
but
we.
as long as it's minor costs instead of substantial, we're paying.
Well, I think about going back to the open house, we lost money on the open house because we didn't bring any money in. So, the point of that is having that and hoping that you get new people in the door who aren't aware of what we do, but we haven't quite seen that as a result of the open house because we pretty much know the people who come in and if they had come to the open house. And so open house is always a great idea, but you're putting money out and the return on that generally isn't coming in, and especially immediately. We might have picked up a few new people coming in for an activity here and there, but, so yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
I liked that you used more biodegradable containers.
Yes, that's me, environmentally sound, yes.
Instead of the styrofoam.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So it's really nice.
Any other questions regarding Christmas Joy?
I was just gonna say, with your putting things out for the regulars, those 2 little words, and they are 2 very small little words, but they're very powerful. It's thank you,
Mhm,
and it means a lot to people.
mhm. It does,
Especially someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of family or anything in town.
yeah. Yep, thank you.
Okay, strong bodies.
Overwhelming response.
Good.
We have 19 to 20 some people already interested and probably signing up, and majority are for the daytime. So I'll be teaching
The
that.
morning one?
The morning one. From
Wow.
10 to 11, yep, I will be teaching that. Stephanie will substitute if needed, but we had Stephanie scheduled for teaching the evening class. Right now we have 4, but I'm requiring a minimum of 6. So some of the people from the daytime were flexible to the evening, so we're gonna see if that they would do that so that we have that running. And just to recap, we were given the leftover funding from the UW extension for that program, which is over $2,000 that we have in that Strong Bodies account. So any expenses that would need to be incurred would come from that. We did find out statewide that Strong Bodies instructors get paid for that. I always assumed it was volunteer when I substituted for Deb, and I
To the
assumed it was
extension.
volunteer.
Yeah.
But just so you're aware, it is generally a paid, and it's not like you're gonna get rich, but
Yeah.
it's a stipend of some sort. I may toy around with that for Stephanie. That would come out of that for her. So I just wanna make that kind of noted.
And then the fees that come with that goes where?
That goes right into it goes right back into the Strong Bodies account, yes.
Okay.
So any fees collected will go right into that account. If we have to purchase weights, a lot of people like to bring their own, they're more comfortable with their weights, but if we have to purchase weights, as we graduate from beginning to intermediate, if people don't want to purchase their own yoga mats, then we might have to purchase a few yoga mats, because then we move from chair and standing exercises to floor.
Oh, so you're gonna be doing that?
Well,
You didn't
only,
do that before?
not right away,
Okay.
and not if the person is not able.
Yeah.
But
So it's
the
a
option needs to
modification.
be there. It's a modification, but that moves from, like, we're starting with beginning, then we'll move to intermediate,
Mhm.
and then if that intermediate, people have a choice. You can do this, if this isn't working as well for you anymore, you move it up to an intermediate level for your muscles, and so then we hit the floor.
Okay, so a question I have is that the weights that are used in Gigi's classes, can those be used?
Yes, of course,
Okay.
but there's no ankle
Oh,
weights.
there's no ankle weights. That's
So we would have to invest in some ankle weights or have people just
Right.
get their own. And I'm going to encourage that, because I think that, we're only meeting twice a week, and the program really pushes for 3 times a week to do these exercises, and then doing some other cardio in between the strength. And so, but we do we would buy out of that funding some ankle weights for people if they didn't want to invest. We have some that were left from UW Extension, but they're the ones with the metal tubes, and they're wonky, and they're really hard on people's ankles, and so I don't know that we'll utilize those for comfort. But we're very pleased that, and so we're gonna have an informational meeting. I have to follow the UW Extension statewide Strong Bodies paperwork. So we have to fill out all the paperwork, I have to send that in, we have to report out, we have to test, we have to test everybody
Oh,
at beginning, we have to test at end, and I have to report things out.
I'm just gonna ask about that, because when we ended up the last time, they
Mhm.
said that testing was no more because they had enough information that it was like a standardized, or I can't remember what she called it. So
okay.
they weren't doing testing, which I think a lot of people liked to
Mhm.
not, because some people did
Yeah.
not like that testing part. is
And
my-
really, the testing is just for that person to see their
I
progress.
know, but, so anyway, you might wanna check on that, because
I'll
that's,
double check with Jennifer, but
that was
I'm
my
pretty-
recollection
Yeah.
when we
Okay.
stopped with Janet. No, I didn't.
With Janet
or
or with
Deb?
Deb.
I think Deb Moldendorf might have told us
Okay.
that too.
I will double
I
check.
guess I don't wanna say for sure,
Okay.
but.
No, I can double check with her, but as far as I know, I was required to do that. Testing, okay. Okay, I will double check with her, and then I should be able to get that answer. She's pretty responsive, so. So yeah, we're very excited about that.
Awesome. Anyone else, any other discussion regarding Strong Bodies? Okay. User fees report and brainstorm ideas.
Yes, we are. That's on this next page.
Yes.
So I asked Stephanie and Vicki to kind of sit, we all sat together and we were doing some brainstorming. So how do we bring in more money, right? So there's a couple things that we were gonna take a look at, and that was our instructor rates and fees and how much we take from each person. And so that's what's at the front of the top of the second sheet. So the instructor, Gigi, right now, we take 20% of everything she brings in, and it's $3 a person per class. Pam is our Zumba instructor. Hers is 20%, hers is $5 a person. She has to pay fees to have the Zumba
Certification.
and use the name and the music. So she has more overhead, and so that's the difference. Amy and Dennis, so instead of them, it was really kind of difficult because we have a $3 activity fee. So they were, for instance, Dennis was gonna charge $30. Well, we just do $33 because otherwise it's like $30 plus $3 plus, people were like, what? What do you mean? So we just rolled that right in, and then we take the $3 out, and then once we take the $3 out of however much he brings in, then whatever's left, we take 15% of that. So that's how that structure works for Amy and Dennis. All other art and craft classes offerings are individually like Laura, you taught for us one time. So we will charge the $3 again, and then the 15%, and it kind of varies cost varies based on project and artist and what they want to charge. So any questions on that? Any questions on how that structure works? No?
What are
Okay.
the average classes like with Gigi? I mean, per session, what does that come out to be?
I'm so sorry, what?
Say with Gigi, what kind of dollar amount does that come out to be for like one session, if it's 20 people or whatever?
Like, what does she get, you mean, or no?
What does the center get?
Oh,
Okay, so we're getting to
So if
that.
we're looking at
20 people would be 60 plus?
Yeah. But we're getting to the big picture of that because I did her hourly rate. I do have a chart that breaks it down per month of what she gets, but yeah, we'll definitely discuss that below in the suggestions. So carrying on with the current fee structure, for cards, games, and groups, we have a $2 fee. The groups that are no fees, guys group, book club, volunteers for certain activities. So if our volunteers are spending, like our quilting volunteers, they could be on payroll, they're here all the time.
right.
So if they want to go back and take a break from quilting and go and play cards, we don't charge them the $2 fee. So that's kind of unique, and it's kind of a perk.
Yeah.
They don't expect it, but they appreciate it. And as much time as they spend in that room, I think that's, kind of the least we can do. And they certainly don't take advantage of that at all. They might, go play cards, a couple times a week or whatever it is that they do. So that's kind of how it works. So our suggestions for fee changes, we already did change and increase our fall craft and market to $30 a table versus $25. So that should bring in quite a bit more money for us. I can't recall how many tables we had. I don't know if I wrote that down, but we have expanded into the other building as well, so that could bring in quite a bit. Yes, Laura?
Just quick question, how does that compare to other events around town, do we know?
We're still low.
Okay, would that be, to me, that would be something that would be reasonable to perhaps go higher on. It's not, this is brainstorming here. It's not taking away from our members, or not members, participants that come in. It's something people choose to come and shop. And maybe we should look at and try and see how much further are we away from other things around town.
I agree, because if we're looking at what we did this last year during budget session, anything to help fill the gap, if we're not even at $30, let's say Lesson Gyms is charging $50 a craft table.
They are.
Is that what it is?
Are they charging 50
I
or?
don't know.
Well, no,
I thought these are
I mean, let's just say it's $50
Right.
per table there.
Yeah.
At 30, we're still a bargain.
Well,
We're a bargain, and at that point, I would say go up to 40, and we're still under what everyone else is doing then at
You
that
don't
point.
want to set it so low this year that we have to raise it again next year, because then they're gonna say, oh, they're raising again for every year.
Yeah, they're gonna keep raising it every year.
So,
You're gonna
go
get to
ahead
that
and-
point too, and.
Yeah, just go ahead and put it up a little bit more.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of, you know, you wanna have the nice crafters here and bring them in, and so you wanna maybe have that be an incentive to perhaps come here versus somewhere else.
And I think Les and Jim's is 45, because I have a friend who's there all the time,
Okay.
and I think they're
And
45.
and our space is so much nicer than, I'm sorry, Les and Jim's, because it's dark in there,
Mhm.
we're bright and open.
I don't know.
So what would you
concerns would
recommend?
there be? I guess, that was just a brainstorm,
Well,
what
no,
are the
and
concerns?
it's a good brainstorm, obviously, and something to look at to say, well, yeah, we're saying now that we're gonna increase it to 30. I'm assuming that's not public knowledge.
Sadly, I think that,
That it did go out.
because we already, at the end of the year last year, when people were signing up, they get on the list right away, and we told them we were increasing it. I don't know how many people actually already sent in their registrations, but I don't think it's a ton of them. But
Well, you can
Too
honor
late
the
this
ones that
year.
have already sent them in, but just not
Is there
give
something in
anybody else.
contracts, applications, whatever, I guess? I'm asking because I do this for the fair with all my vendors. I always put in there, pricing is subject to change.
mhm,
Because something could come up where, you know, oh, insurance says we have to,
mhm.
you know, cover this. Well, I don't have this covered, so I need to start charging for that in order to cover for that.
I do not believe that that's in there, but I can double check.
Okay.
Do we know how many tables, or how many vendors?
Vicki would have that number.
I mean,
It's something to definitely look at to say,
Mm-hmm.
30 is still low.
Mhm.
You know, if Lesson Gyms is charging 45, 30 is still an extremely low number for us, especially for these vendor crafters that come in. And they make some decent money.
well, some do, but some
Some do,
don't.
some
See, I think that's the other
That's-
thing.
So what would you like to see it at? And I'll talk to Vicki after this and see how many people have already,
I
if
guess,
we have it out there that it's already 30.
yeah, for me, I think it's better to first find out what the others are. I guess I wouldn't wanna
What?
put it up and then find out the others are.
Lesson Gyms and Eagles, if they're both, say, at 45, 50.
And we have to remember, they're businesses, you know, I mean, we're still, I know nonprofit, we still have to make money, but again, we don't wanna not have people sign up because it's too expensive.
Well, that's, right.
Oh,
I think
that-
calling around's a good idea.
Well, the same person that,
Vicki probably already knows what they are, but
Yeah.
we kind of all came up with just,
the same person runs both the Eagles and
Yeah.
Les and Jim's.
yeah.
Hmm.
Laura runs pretty much
Laura
all of
bars.
ours, yeah, mostly everything.
No, and I get that because they.
And the one out at the Mark now again, ironically, is on the same day as ours, even though we changed the day.
Oh, the flea market
yeah,
slash
whatever.
raffle show.
And I forget what her table fees are 40 or,
I don't know.
yeah, something like
But I mean, even when I thought about doing something, you know, even though that doesn't sound like a lot, depending on what you're selling, that can be a lot of sales.
Mhm.
So I appreciate that,
Mhm.
you know, it is
No,
for some people, it would be a lot. For others, obviously, it wouldn't be much, but
Okay,
But you use it as a marketing tool for getting people in the center too,
Yeah.
where it's, some
Yeah.
people may not have been here and will come back and
yeah.
leave it at 30 for this year and readjust.
Yeah,
well, I'll first check with Vicki and see how many have already submitted, or if it's out there, if she sent it to the whole group already.
I mean, I appreciate that you put it up a little bit. That's
Yeah.
good, you know. to
Yeah.
kind of
It's a
think
good
some of that.
start, maybe a little bit more this year, but maybe Rod's right in saying, look, we'll go with 30 this year, and then if we get a good amount, maybe 35 the next year.
And then put that little clause in your contract.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Price is subject to change.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
It was
that's
one
a
of the
good
first
suggestion.
things I came up, I did when I
Mhm.
started doing that, because it's like, look, I can sit there and tell these vendors for the fair every
Mm-hmm.
year, hey, look, the price is gonna be $210 for, or $175 or whatever, and it's like, well, if the fair board looks and goes, no, we didn't make enough money, we need to increase it, well,
Yeah.
okay, that's,
Yep. that's
Yeah.
just, well, it's inflation, it's everything,
It's
so
just
it's the
everything.
It's
economy.
everything.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
the way the
so.
world works now.
Right.
Still a 20% increase, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're, I mean, yeah.
Here we go, I like somebody's number.
Is it still that they have to make the crafts?
Yes, we don't accept, you're not,
No.
no resales here. You can't go buy something from Home Goods and come and sell it. We require that it's handcrafted, handmade, homegrown. Yep, yep. So, okay, I'll check on that though, and I'll keep you posted as to where we're at with that and if we can sneak that change in right now, or if it's, we have to wait till next year. And then change the clause to pricing subject to change, yeah, exactly.
The easiest way to get away with having to do a
Mhm.
quick increase for
Mhm.
whatever reason.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, very good. All right, so back to Gigi with Rod asking, you know, how much does that calculate? So I went through the whole year. I went through the entire 2023 and calculated, looked back at her contract. She requires a $60 per hour. So
Is that a minimum?
that's
Or
just
that's
her
what-
flat fee. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
okay.
we negotiated a couple years back. She has to make her $60 an hour.
Okay,
And so that's when we increased what we gave to her. Based, you know, what she was bringing in, we started paying her more. So we started giving her 20%. And her average rate last year was $72.62 an hour.
okay, I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused too, because I thought the 20% was what Mac took out.
Yeah.
no, 20% is what we're paying Gigi
Oh,
of everything that we bring in. And
right,
that averaged out of,
So her,
correct me if
her
I'm wrong,
average per hour, based on when we take that 20, yes, when we take that 20%
would be
out.
72.62.
Yes,
right,
So that's a little I'm just in my head.
Right.
okay.
That's different from the contract saying $60 per hour.
No, I'm kind of in my head going back to this top part where we take 15%, and now at the bottom, we're giving her 20%, so it's set up a little differently.
No.
Well,
Up
20%
here
is-
at Gigi, it's 20% up here
Yeah.
instead of
20%.
Amy and Dennis.
Yeah, oh, because payment, I see what you're saying, because
Yeah.
the word payment.
Yeah,
Yeah, we take 20% off of her $3 fee. So it, yeah,
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really, we're paying her 80%, we're taking 20%.
Right.
That's
That-
where
Is that where you're going?
that's where I'm
Okay,
going.
yeah, my
Okay.
bad,
So
yeah.
she gets 8 at the bottom, I'm just in my head gonna, so that's 80% fee.
Our fee is 20%, we're taking 20% out.
Okay, so I'm just.
Our fee, yeah, that's okay, no, I totally see what you're saying, yeah.
80%.
She gets 80%, we take 20%.
Gotcha, okay.
So if we increase it to 25%,
Okay,
and we tell her that that's what we're gonna be doing now, she's still making $67 an hour.
okay,
and she does have the class before our class, where she makes,
Now, we don't touch that class,
No.
she pays rent.
oh, she does,
She
I was
pays
wondering
us,
about that.
she pays us $200 a month in rent.
okay,
Oh,
now
okay.
does she pay Mac or
She pays
Expo?
me,
Oh,
because it's in our time, our space, when we have that. Mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
interesting,
mhm,
what do you charge? $3 per class, is that correct?
yes.
correct.
But she charges more
Per
for,
person.
her
But for her math
class.
class, that's on her, she's renting our space
No,
from
but
us.
when you're paying her,
Yes,
it's $3 per class, so for her to get her $60, it has to be at least 20 people.
right, and she's averaging
Always.
40 plus.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
where I was,
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, she's at, no, yes, good thought. Yeah, and
Sometimes not, but
very,
averaging is that how
she very rarely drops below 30,
Right,
very rarely now.
So I,
Huge following.
Yeah.
dumb question here.
No dumb questions.
Again. I'm keen for dumb questions because sometimes I just need dumb answers. If her rate is $60 per hour, how come we're paying her $72.62?
Well, it ramped up. Her class attendance was not like it was last year. Last year was her highest class attendance for the year. The year before that, it wasn't that high, but it was
Because of
probably a
COVID.
little bit above 60. But people just keep coming,
growing.
which is wonderful.
I
you know,
get
so-
that, and
she's worth every penny and more.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I get that, I understand that.
Mhm.
I'm just looking at it in a,
mhm.
Maybe $60 is her minimum?
It is her minimum. That's what she needs to make per hour.
Okay, so in her contract,
Yes.
it states that she needs to make a minimum $60,
Yeah.
but it's 20%.
Of who she brings in. It's kind of how I would see it, it's an incentive for her. The more people she brings in, she gets a little more.
Yeah.
And she's bringing in a lot of people.
I get all that, I understand all that, that's why this is kind of a dumb question. If the contract reads out this way, then that's fine. I'm just looking at it going, why is there a discrepancy, I
Yeah.
guess, between 60 and 72?
Well, that would be changing her contract, fluctuating every couple months and looking at it, and we don't want to play that game.
No,
You know,
I
because
get that, I
like Rod
understand.
said, what if she, you know, 1 week, well, and sometimes the snowbirds leave,
Mhm.
they haven't left. I'm not sure if they're gonna leave or they're just still here.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't wanna be doing mid-year contract changes. So
No, I
we're
don't
gonna
want to do
we're-
mid-year contract
Yeah,
changes either,
yeah.
that's not what I'm
So,
getting at.
Okay,
I'm
so
just getting at
explain.
the, let's see, this is, maybe it's just me in my head.
It's just too simple an explanation, and he's trying to make it harder than it is.
so are you wondering why
Unconsciously.
at 25%, I calculated that, she's still getting $67 an hour. So that's why I'm bringing that to you. If we
I guess
increase our
20
fee 5%, do we increase it to 28%? What do we do?
But
That's
what if
why,
only 10 people show up? Does she get paid $60 an hour?
no.
There's her, I mean, she has that risk too, so there might be.
Okay,
good
so there
times.
is a risk to,
Oh, yeah,
that,
because the
that's, I
snowbird
guess
thing.
where I'm getting at
But
right
that-
now is, it's looking like we're paying her,
She's got more work with more
Yeah.
people, so I mean, if,
Yeah, honestly, she's invaluable. I mean,
I think so too. No.
you can't, I don't want to offend her, but she also was a director for Boys and Girls Club. She understands the situation we're in. So if I go to her and say, here's the situation.
no.
We're
And
gonna
I
need
get-
to change, we're gonna need to pull 25% instead of 20. I did some calculations. You should still be okay with a little bit of a cushion if all of a sudden attendance drops, which it does.
Yeah.
You know, but
Do you think she'd be okay with that, or?
I do, I think she'll understand, I do.
I'm just looking at kind of all the numbers that get tossed
Yeah,
in
yeah.
here right now, going, okay, for bare minimum, it says here is $60 per hour, but if it goes under, then we eat the cost. As long as I know, and it's kind of out there that, no, she's eating a risk too. If it goes under 20 people, then she's not gonna get $60. That's kind of the, you see where I'm getting at with
No,
that?
I appreciate you're not, you know,
Yeah.
I know you're not, you know,
Yeah, I don't want to devalue her,
Right.
I just don't want
Well, and what I
to
can do is
eat the risk here
I
because
have
we're,
that monthly spreadsheet from last year that I created, and I can send that to all of you so you can see like which months were the highest paid for her based on attendance.
I would
and
appreciate-
it kind of fluctuates. It's lower some months, it's higher some other months, and so that's the
Yeah.
this is the average.
I would
Like you said.
appreciate to see that.
Yeah.
yeah, but this wasn't a different year though, too. Other years have been less, is what I heard you say.
Less attendance,
Less
so
attendance, so
obviously
less.
less, yeah.
So does the amount she's getting vary from month, I don't know how often she
From
gets
month
paid?
to month.
Month to month?
Yes.
Based on, okay.
Yes,
So, okay.
yes, and that's the numbers that I have, I can share, yeah.
That's.
I would like to see all of that because obviously when we look at the situation that the Enrichment Center is in going down the road, we're looking to, we're pinching every penny.
Well, and that's, yep,
And
that's
that's where,
exactly
as
why
long
we're
as
here.
everyone here is at a risk also, you know, of not
there's
to
more
say
than
I-
one purpose for this, though. It's not just to make money, it's to serve the public as far as, even
Right.
$18 a class, $18 to $20 a class, it's not like you're.
It's still a bargain deal. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say we need to make, $10,000 in one single year.
And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to spread that out and not have everything fall on Gigi.
Right,
That's not right.
right.
So that's why I did the 25 plus, we have all these other choices. So if
Correct.
we can move on and talk about
Yeah,
those?
sure.
Okay. All right, so right now, we have a lot of fees that are just $2. So if you look at all of our card games, groups that come in, other games, mahjong, they're just $2. if you recall us moving into this building, it went from $1 to $2 and it was not well
Received
received. But now they know what we have and what we are and what this is, and so I think it'll be maybe a little less of needing some armor. But our proposal is that we raise everything to $3.
Can I just ask, just $2 for those and $3 to come and use, so why was there the difference, I guess, from the beginning?
Because we didn't feel that there was a whole lot that we needed to do for our card players. We put the
Okay.
cards out, we make some coffee, and they're
So,
pretty much
okay,
self-sufficient.
falls on staff time and effort, okay,
Yeah,
that makes the
yeah,
difference,
yeah.
okay.
And in addition, when we said 3, I'm thinking 75% of them, at the time we moved in here in 2017, would have said, no, we're not coming.
Yeah,
So we had to just do a little bit of a bump for them.
okay.
Well, even a cup of coffee is $2.50.
Right, right.
So
Our coffee
you
bills
buy it.
are up too.
Water the coffee down.
You know, so
Well, they'll notice
if
that
you,
too.
right, if you look at all activities, like
Yeah, yeah.
the $2 fee, people would pay an extra $4 a month. So,
Oh, for frequency of how much they would
right,
come.
right.
Okay.
If they come 2 times a month, most of them come 4, some come 3.
Okay. Plus, you could do the little card, 'cause-
Well, and the card is another thing that we're
Oh.
thinking of changing, so.
Okay, so,
So again, these are all of our brainstorming ideas. We wanted to bring them to the table
yeah,
so that we have the backing of the committee when I go in front of the
People.
Army.
yeah. Well, we
and
appreciate the time you
and
put into
share.
considering some of these things.
So
great.
that's one.
You could give them the illusion, say you're gonna charge $5 per time, but you're gonna give them a break, it's only 3.
Yeah, that,
Right.
I'm gonna say, cause I'm looking at $3
That works.
going,
that's pretty good.
the
It's a
amount of
term for
times
that
I
at my
have
house. I think
$3
it's
in my
growing.
wallet compared to a $5 bill.
Retailers do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's bargain.
Yeah.
But remember, perception pricing is a strategy. It's a strategy, and there's perception with it, and there's value for that extra dollar. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into pricing strategy. So, right. The next thing is eliminate pay once a day. So the girls had the idea, like, and some people had asked, so they come and take Gigi's class, say, for $3, and then they come back and play cards later, and then they don't pay another $2. They just pay a flat $3 fee.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
what's happening currently.
that's what's happening currently.
Yeah.
So Stephanie kind of, went through, and roughly 20 people are affected by that, who take advantage of that. So, so we're thinking of just kind of eliminating that. So if they come in, they do Gigi's class for $3, and
Ukulele, then I pay another $2 for
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
$3. Yeah,
Maybe
so it'd be
$3.
$3.
Oh,
It'd be
$3.
$3.
Net to
There's,
$3.
if we eliminate the $2, it would be $3. So
Okay.
if you come, one day a week and you do one thing, it's $3. You come a different day of the week and you're gonna participate in 2 things, you pay $6. Because again, we're paying the instructors, we're paying, we're doing all of that. That's just another thought, another recommendation. And then the final one is punch cards pay in full. So right now we currently do buy 9 classes, get 1 free. And we do monthly drawings then for a free class or whatever we do. Now we're going to pay in full for the punch card, change to 2 monthly drawings for just a free class. And then at the end of the year, have a full punch, like somebody wins the full punch card. Because we keep the punch cards from month to month. And so at the very end of the year, we'd pull somebody's name and they would win a full punch card. We're still saving money based on the calculations that we did on that. So those are some of our recommendations. I'm bringing them to you and looking for feedback.
So under the current, it's kind of like my coffee. I go to Auntie Ray's, get 10 coffees, and I get the 11th one free, basically. That's how the punch cards work here currently.
Right.
Under the new proposal, you're proposing that they buy 10 classes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Spend 30.
And after they're all punched, they go into a drawing.
And they go into a drawing, so they don't get an 11th free.
Correct.
Correct. You're
They
right.
might.
The
But they might if they
drawing,
win.
Yeah.
No, that's, I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm making sure I'm
and
understanding
you're
that
right,
correctly.
you're right.
It's
And
kind
at
of
the
a
end of the year,
convenient-
they could,
They could end up with a free, I'm just making sure I'm understanding
you,
that
you are,
correctly.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
correct.
And for me, I came in one day and I didn't want to write a check out because we pay for checks. So you aptly said, well, just bring cash, which I could certainly do. But those punch cards are very handy.
They are.
Just to not.
Oh, trust me, I get it. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
enough anti-race cards
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
stocked
So-
up on. Between me and my wife,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad to not get rid of the cards.
So, you know, if you want to take some time to process all of this, I don't, you know, do we wait another month before we do this for our next meeting, or can you communicate sooner so that when we're working on March's newsletter right now, that could be a flip, or they would have to probably wait till April, and then I have to have discussions with groups, which I might need you all here for.
so,
In the middle of summer.
about to say, let's,
July.
if this body here right now is willing, I would say raising the activities fee by $1 right now, just to start with, out of all these changes.
What about Gigi?
I think the Gigi one, the way you have it structured, as long as Gigi's okay with it, I don't see and as long as the rest of this group is okay, I don't see a problem with that. I think looking at some of these other ones going, okay, what's the proper route to go? The $3, eliminating the pay once a day, that seems almost obvious to me. At a time where we're crunching the numbers right now.
I think what we were doing
unfortunately.
is we were trying to encourage people to not only take part in one thing, but multiple things.
Yeah.
No, and I get that, I understand
You
that,
know,
but when
so-
we're starting to crunch the numbers
Yeah,
down.
Yeah, so,
Part of me is that's one of the least ones I like personally, but it doesn't affect that many people, right?
yeah,
Or no? I don't know.
Well, I mean, 20 people.
20.
Yeah, 20
Oh,
people is
20
quite
That's a
a
lot
bit.
of people,
How many
actually.
people attend the Enrichment Center a week?
Oh my gosh.
If you could, like, how many different people, I should say?
Oh, I'd have to get that number. Then
I
we
mean,
have-
that's,
yeah.
that's kind of,
Yeah,
20 people could end up being a make or break week.
Mhm,
I'm just
that's true.
mhm.
pointing that out,
Okay,
because
well, that's fine, yeah. I
if you
mean,
had
I'm open
if
to
you
any
had
of these.
30, I'm not saying that if you had 30 unique people coming in that one week and 20 of them took advantage of this,
Mhm,
that's a make or break week,
mhm.
because that could break us.
I don't think it's 20 in a week, I think it was 20 in a month, I thought
20
you
in a
said.
day.
Yeah, 20 a
But I
day.
mean, I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
those 20 people you were talking about is per week,
It's,
or is it?
let me think, so Mahjong meets, so it's per month.
Per
Yeah,
month.
the
See, it's
activities
20
per
a
month.
not
And
per-
like ukulele
Right, but
meets
I'm
once
just-
a month.
Ukulele's
and-
once a month,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just pointing
Yeah.
some of these things
Yeah.
out and giving a hypothetical.
But that
I'm not
is,
saying that.
if they pay $3 and they have to come back and pay another $3, that's a $6 day for them, so. And if they do that
So-
bi-weekly,
Right,
if they do that even monthly, plus they do other things, that one's a little bit,
Like 50
that could be a
bucks a-
little tough.
I know, that's
$50 a month.
why
That
I.
could be a little tough.
I pay more, I know people that pay more for that just for an activity that they know they'll never get any money back on.
Well,
Right. However, we have to
So,
look
I
at
mean,
demographics as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, these are people.
And fixed
No, I-
incomes, and there's a lot of factors involved. It's good that you're
I
you're
get all
saying
of that,
it,
but I'm looking at
yeah.
it going,
But what we have to do is look at the bigger picture. We're gonna make an impact and get the most money is from Gigi.
Right.
and I get that, that's why
And
I'm
then
okay
if we
with
can
that.
increase our fee from 2 to 3, it's not a lot, but it's a little.
Start there with those two.
Start with the
Yeah.
Gigi thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if she's fine with it,
I'm confident that she will be, because she understands business. It's not like I'm throwing something at her that is foreign. I mean, and especially that she's still making more than her flat fee. It's not like we're taking it right down to 60 because of the times that we might have lower attendance, there's a buffer in there and she should still,
Break even.
she
at
should
least
still be
with-
fine, yeah.
So $5 an hour difference, and then it's, that's just for the 1 hour Monday, 1 hour Wednesday? So
This
it's
is-
$10 between the 72, 62, and if we went to 25%, that's $5 per hour difference. She'd get less, correct?
Yes,
Okay, so she does an hour on Monday and an hour on Wednesday of the two yoga strength and balance. Are there other ones that we're talking about in there, or just those two?
Just.
So it's $10 a week less for her, if I'm
You're
thinking.
not increasing her rental.
what's that?
You're not increasing her rental for the month for the other classes.
No, no,
I mean, she's got to understand it costs more for electricity and heat the place, so.
yeah, yeah.
I just, it's so interesting. Yesterday, after class, I went to Wausau, and these two women came up to me and they said, "Oh, were you at exercise this morning?" I said,
Oh,
"Yeah."
in Wausau.
In Wausau, and they, at Kohl's, and then I said, "Yes," and they said, "Oh, we just started going, this woman and her friend got her to come," and then I think, well, they're coming in the building, they're shopping at the craft
Yep,
shop.
yep.
They're maybe doing
Oh.
other activities and things. She doesn't just do the class.
No,
I mean, it builds momentum with so many other parts of the enrichment. So I certainly want to protect her as much.
oh,
because I think
believe,
it's
I'm the one
huge.
who recruited her, because
Yeah,
I
right.
took yoga with her forever ago.
Yeah.
And when we came here, I'm like, could you do some chair yoga for us? And
Yeah.
she goes, what? I'm like chair yoga? And she's like, I don't know, maybe, yeah, I can figure something
Yeah.
out. And I'm like, thank you so much. And now look.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I'm
she's
open to-
valuable. People
Yeah.
follow her.
I'm open to
Yeah.
keeping her, obviously,
Yeah.
there's no questions about
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of,
Well, I'll have the
Yeah.
discussion with her.
have the discussion.
And then I can bring
I
it
propose,
back.
I guess, in order to kind of make it official, make a motion to, increase the activities fee from $2 to $3. And also to allow Tammy to review the suggested fee changes with Gigi.
Are we talking the 25%?
Yeah, the 25%, all that, and as long as Gigi agrees with that, then this body has agreed with it.
Okay, so Nathan. Fair?
I know it's a long-winded motion, but,
Necessary?
so.
Anybody second?
Discussion?
I'll second
Anybody
for it.
second?
Any other discussion, thoughts?
I mean, as long as we start with that, we get started, and then we can kind of review the eliminating pay once a day and then the punch card thing, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I think the punch
I
card,
think the punch card idea is a good one
it
myself.
is, it's a better
The
deal
punch-
with the
It
new
is,
way.
yeah,
I think so too. I mean, so we buy all 10.
yeah.
I would have no problem with that.
But you
Then
have-
it's only like, once a month you're paying an extra $3. I don't,
And you have the opportunity twice a month that you could win.
yeah.
I think we could
So
go
people
ahead
buy
and do
punch
that.
cards for Gigi's class and for Zumba, so the Zumba group too would.
So then I guess I'll amend my.
Well, I don't know. I guess any other thought, because you attend classes, do you have any other thoughts, Sharon?
No, I think it's fine as presented.
To only do the first two or to add the punch card?
Oh, the punch, yeah.
Or not hold off on that?
I think that'd be fine too. I don't even pay any attention when I buy my card that I'm getting a class free, to tell you the truth. I just,
Yeah.
how much is it?
Yeah, that's,
Alright, then I guess I'll amend my motion to add the punch cards paying in full, suggestion.
and maybe we could just grandfather in those that already have, if we're gonna start that soon.
Right,
Grandfather those in and then you make punch cards, or start in March, or however you feel that would be best.
yeah, I'll work with Stephanie and,
Yeah, make a new punch card basically that will.
well, the punch card's the same, so, we won't have to change it per se, but we're gonna have to let them know that we're starting on a fresh day. We're gonna, beginning of the month in March or whatever it might be.
Begin
Or
in
April,
February,
so people have a
right.
chance to get the
April,
information.
true,
I don't
yeah,
know.
April would be good. Yeah, because we have to,
Yeah, yeah.
and I don't wanna throw I kind
Just
of
don't
like
go
just,
buy 50 punch cards.
yeah, I kind of like
It's
just
on
a
record,
few,
yeah.
because I don't want to throw too much
Oh.
forward at people at once. It would get overwhelming and frustrating, I think. So
Okay.
if we make some little changes along the way and just let them know that this is why we're making these changes, and there's
Yeah.
going to be changes throughout the year.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but it is what it is. It's our economy, it's the state of the city, it's all of these things. Rod, what had you said something once that.
You can blame me.
No, no, I won't do that.
It's all
But you
right.
had said something once that resonated well with me is when people don't want to support a tax increase, that this is kind of
This is what,
Oh,
what
what
happens.
happens.
Yeah.
As a result of it, it falls on us to have to make some changes so that we can pay for,
You either have to pay more in taxes, more in user fees, or less in service. I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
It has to come from somewhere.
it has to come from
yeah,
somewhere.
everything costs money and we don't print money down in City Hall. That's,
God, gee, why not?
but there's that illusion that, we don't pay for electricity, or we don't, our trucks are free, and the material that we put on the
Right.
roads are free, and it's,
Right,
and it's not the case, is it?
right.
So, I mean, we need to pay for things, and unfortunately for the Enrichment Center, the state has said that this is non-essential.
Mhm.
And that's kind of, that we need to pay for,
Right,
we need to pay for
Streets,
police,
police,
we need to
fire,
pay for a street.
yeah.
And
that's okay.
that-
We'll make it work.
And that's where
So,
we need to find a way to make this work.
So
Yep.
we're doing those 3 things?
yes, we're going, right now the motion is
The
that.
motion is to do the GG change, the activities change, and the punch card change.
Okay,
Any other?
I'm good with that.
It's fine.
And you're seconding.
And
the-
Teresa seconded.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, if no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you for that, and we'll continue to work on that throughout the year.
ADRC updates.
So Jennifer had sent over just a couple things to me. The ADRC is providing dementia education. So there's a series of workshops. She sent me the flyer for that I have here.
Those are the ones we did last year.
Okay, so actually, they're coming here to do those screenings and such, but they actually have offerings throughout every county. So she sent me there's virtual options, there's in-person options for all of the cities in the county that are offering that. So that was one thing that she sent over. The second thing was a caregiver support flyer. So that is also at our front desk. The time's available. They're gonna start a caregiver support group, which I think is critical. So that's good. She also, I'm not sure if you heard this before, but I think she did mention that Stepping On is now going to happen. You know how she's been pushing for somebody to help us with Stepping On program, and apparently the library has taken that on.
Oh, good.
I don't know who is the facilitator or how they're running it. I messaged Lori, so I'll find that out, but very happy that Stepping On program will start up again. Especially that Wisconsin is the #1 state in the nation with death from falls.
And
Not a
Lincoln
good
County had
statistic.
17 people die last year
Yes.
as a result of falls.
Yes.
I was surprised at
Really?
that.
That
Yeah.
was just in Lincoln County?
Yeah, just Lincoln County.
I know, I heard that too.
I didn't
That's,
know that.
yeah.
But I wonder too, that'd be something where people, if someone could go into people's homes and point out certain things that are.
They do actually,
They
Sharon,
do
yes,
actually do that?
yes, they do. Stepping On will go into the home
Oh,
and carpets come up, they
Wow,
look at
yeah.
trip hazards,
Throw-
yeah, they
throw
do
it.
that.
That's great.
Which is wonderful,
another
yes.
thing I was wondering is part of the problem that some people are staying in their homes too long?
Yes,
Because there
They
isn't
wanna
a place, or it
age at
costs too
home.
much to move into a,
Yeah, that-
Well, if it's like my father-in-law, he just don't,
I need to get
he
out.
doesn't wanna leave.
yeah.
He doesn't wanna leave his home.
a lot
And
of people.
we as the kids have said, we're not gonna force him into a nursing home if he doesn't want to.
Yeah,
Right, so people are aging at home with the help of others, but they're alone a lot, and that's when those falls happen. So, yeah, you're right. So we're very happy to have that back, and the library's taking that on.
Well, and, I mean, over the last 3 years, I've fallen twice. Both times we're outside.
Yeah.
Well, and given this,
The weather.
you know, I mean,
Ice.
it's no wonder the state, well, New York should be too. There's a whole lot going on in New York. But we're number one, sadly. Okay, so yeah, so that's from Jennifer.
Okay. Health fair.
Okay, just a quick update on this. It's, you know, we love go big or go home, but I'll tell you what, organizing a health fair to the level that we were discussing at the end of last year is going to take a lot of planning and a lot of time. So if we want it to be as big as we were talking about, that's gonna probably have to be next year. The partners are all busy, they're overloaded, they're short-staffed, all of the above. If we wanted to have a health fair that's maybe during our business hours and have a handful of local businesses come who deal in health, and we can have it here while we're here, that's an option that we can throw out for next meeting and see if we can make that happen if we want to.
Well, in the
Smaller
future,
scale.
we're talking about that. Years ago, I was in charge of, we did a hike and bike expo, and we did it at St. Francis. It was so successful. So when you talk about health, I think you can, expand a little bit on that. We had people with Nordic walking poles that sold these, that showed how to use them.
Yeah.
We had someone doing bike tune-ups, and we had a ride going on during that day, a bike ride.
Okay.
There was we didn't have trouble getting people, and I've got all my notes from that.
Yeah,
I
that
can
sounds
dig
cool.
up and
Yeah, yeah.
I also spoke, and I think you and Jane have spoke a couple times, Jane Benz. I know you were playing volleyball there for a while.
Via email, pretty short
Right.
discussions, but we've touched base, yeah.
I know that I have spoken to some of the volunteers, and they said they would be more than happy to come over and volunteer to help.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have a shortage of volunteers. It's a
But it's a matter of having
it's
a professional.
You're right, right,
So,
right.
Well, Jane
Securing-
likes the idea.
Yeah, she and I said it's a good idea, but it's a matter of time and resources, so,
It is.
but I like the small things. I like if we can just do a few small things once in a while instead of, I think we like to think big, but when you think big, it's a lot of time, money, payroll, all of these things that fall into place. So sometimes if we can have something here, like our workshop series, right? But have it be more of a health type fair thing with, maybe there's 3 people here to talk, be here from 1 to 3 o'clock, and they're gonna educate people on that. Stop by, pick up a pamphlet, figure, something like you're saying in the summer, that would be great.
yeah, we had a rep from the Ice Age Trail.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now, we're an Ice Age city, and now we're a national trail. So we're part of a national trail, which is really cool.
That is very cool.
I have a request on for this health fair stuff.
Yes.
To put it on for next meeting, so that way we can discuss it a little bit better, but is it possible to have some sort of document to look at to see what is the full extent of what we talked about, looking like? Like, what are we needing, to get done, just on sheet of paper so everyone can see, oh, this is why you're asking to go to 2025 instead of try to do
Well, I
something
think we were basically just brainstorming at this point.
I get that and I understand that, but that's where it's
reaching
like.
out. So I started with,
Yeah.
with that, but of course then it went into our very busy time of year, so it had
No,
to take a back seat.
I
So,
get that, that's why
we can certainly brainstorm ideas on who we want here, what that looks like.
yeah, I'm just looking at it going, I'm a person that, this right here makes me happy because I can see it and go, okay, this is.
Well, and I'll take your suggestions before our next meeting. If you want to email me what you think would be good, and who would be best represented at a health fair and what we want that to look like, so that when we come to the next meeting, I can have something.
Okay.
So,
I would appreciate that.
yeah, I'll put that back on the committee to provide stuff, what you're thinking.
Because I'm open to anything for a health fair at this point. It's just a matter though of, I don't know, that could
Kind of
go
like
in.
a
Yeah,
booth table, like
yeah.
so maybe
But-
have a nutrition,
You could have chiropractic, you could have
Physical
feet
therapy.
pulling, you could have all of this, but unless you have it all planned out and have people to fill those, it's like, well, then what are we're just talking at that point.
Exactly. I think that's a good idea.
Timing wise with some of these things, activity wise, have you thought about maybe trying to do something in conjunction with, say, they're having that food truck palooza, as far as people are here already for something, would it make sense to have your function? Or I know there's been conflicts when the rodeo's been here with a auction or something, but maybe if it was something that you sponsored, even if it wasn't the health fair, if it was something else to take advantage of the crowd that's already gathered here.
Maybe an additional craft fair, sort of deal.
Well, I know the rodeo.
Or your store being open, something small to start out.
Have the health fair so people don't feel so guilty about pigging out at the food
And what to do afterwards. They have their stomach pumped when they come here.
You shouldn't eat that deep fried stick of butter.
Refresh my memory.
Don't diss my
Is that a
deep fried
weekend?
It's like
stick of butter.
May 15th or 16th.
Is it during the
I
week?
saw that
No, it's on
online
a
and I said, you gotta be
Saturday.
kidding me.
See, that's
Somebody would
today.
actually eat that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, but I know somebody from the rodeo mentioned that to me too, like, could you, just cause there is, I've not been to one of those, but a large gathering, and so, they're like, well, face something for the kids to do, little kids, is there something, but
Or
that doesn't really
something
fall
as
with our.
simple as opening up the kitchen, polka dot pie serves, they probably want a cut of it then, because they're taking away from their concessions, but
Oh,
just some way to,
I was saying,
Some
And I like
fundraiser
that,
for
but
you.
I always think about what's in it for us, like how do we, what,
well, that
Vision
would probably
wise,
come down to
Right.
festival grounds opening that up.
Right.
then your bathroom
Right.
being.
right, like what, I mean,
Yeah.
if we're open for people, a lot of times they come in and use the restroom,
Yeah.
so there has to be, I get it though, I get it.
And if it's on the
Crowds
weekend,
that
then
size
it's step
are
out.
Then it's
that's
payroll,
what you
right?
Meet in the
Right,
bathroom.
exactly, then we have to be off during the payroll week, but we'll think of something. If there is something that makes sense for us on a Saturday.
I think to Rod's point, the food truck-a-palooza, since that's a brand new event, Merrill, the city of Merrill is the one putting it on, not an outside group. I think it makes sense for us to do something on that day. You got the citywide garage sale going on, it would just make sense
Oh,
to,
that's that day too?
yes.
Or they used to get them
You
in
do
the
like
crash
face
shop.
painting for the
and-
kids.
Yeah.
and
Is that
then-
in May, you said?
I think it's May 16th.
May 18th, I believe, is the official date, hold on, right? It's that week of May.
Okay, we can toy with that.
Yeah, May 18th. So it's a,
Built-in customers, so they're
Yeah.
built-in,
Yeah.
yeah, because they're gonna have the food trucks, music, and
I think
cornhole
Brad
tournament?
Amanda's singing, there, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I know they're also, I don't know, I know we have a meeting
It's a
in
cornhole tournament, and there's.
in like
vendors.
2 hours.
Oh, that's popular.
now is there a cost to that?
Yeah.
Oh, and entry.
Cornhole.
Yeah.
Now, I have a totally off-the-wall question, but I think it comes from knowing him. Why?
That's right for you.
He's rubbing off on us.
I have never heard it called cornhole until I came up here. Down south, we call it beanbag toss.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
Tom.
makes more sense.
I like that better.
What's with the cornhole stuff?
Don't know,
I think they fill the bags with corn.
Oh, something as simple.
That's
as
it?
that.
it could be as
That's
simple
my
as
guess,
that.
it could be as simple as that.
All right,
I
so
think
don't
that
be-
must have been a peddler of alcohol.
Fill it with rice.
And that.
Well, for the fact we call, billiards, pool.
Or the fact that you call Sloppy Joe's barbecue.
Yeah.
I call it sloppy joe. but that's-
Exactly.
But at any rate, yeah, so just to try to do,
Yeah, we'll see,
yeah,
we'll
to
see.
do an event coinciding with that, I think it's something to obviously discuss and
We'll
try to figure out
discuss.
what to do.
I
Right.
think that is a good idea.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, anything else before, just in the interest of time, before we move on to probably what you wanted to spend a lot of time on?
Yeah.
Strategic planning.
I think I'm going to recommend we move that to next month's meeting.
I would agree with
Mhm.
that,
So-
especially since we have only 5 members here.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess the other thing to discuss in future agenda items, it's just a future agenda item, is talking with people, out in the community, them knowing that I'm an alderman, I will be for the foreseeable future, it looks like, running unopposed right now, that they would like to see the Enrichment Center opened a little bit more. Like especially for those that have to work the 9-to-5 job, but they want to be here. They want to do the activities, but we're not open. And I get that it comes down to budgetary restrictions, being a little crafty with how we have to do things, but it's something that I do think needs to get discussed.
And I agree with you too, and I have some ideas, but there's not enough time to talk about those today. I had some maybe ideas and questions about how things could be changed, but yeah, I agree, if we could put that on the
So we
agenda.
have our
Right.
one Thursday evening, right
And
now.
that's-
And now if we run Strong Bodies on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, the tough thing about that is if Stephanie's teaching that, she can't be running the center. So that means two of us have to be here.
I get that, that's where
So,
I'm
yeah, so
saying we need to
it's-
discuss,
yeah.
be crafty, and figure this.
Yeah, if we
Out.
can have,
And I think there are a couple different ways to look at things.
And maybe offer one Saturday a month.
I would,
I said maybe.
Rod, can I have another person?
if things go well enough, though,
I mean,
you
it's
don't have
an
to ask,
interest,
it'll
it's
become a
an
necessity.
interesting problem to have, isn't it? People want us to be here more, and we have to pay for the time that we're here. So, and then there's only two of us instead of three. When one of us is on vacation, it is
It's crazy.
it's crazy
You were
here.
talking to a-
So it, you know what I mean? It's a good thing if we have people wanting to do things, or saying they're gonna wanna do things in the evening and having them show up as another. But if they do, it's a vicious circle.
And you're talking to a person that when he decides he's gonna take vacation, the part-time person has to somehow fill the full-time position and his part-time position within 29 hours. So I fully understand that. That's
Yeah.
just,
Yep,
But do you have some volunteers
Yeah.
that you could use in the office?
yeah,
Smallest
But-
island in the
yeah.
world.
we could.
we
could.
gotta be crafty
Yeah,
about this.
we
That's why
could.
it's a good
And
discussion
some of our
point.
volunteers
I just
do,
envision this as, you guys have seen Night at the Museum?
yeah,
This would be Night at the Enrichment Center, how
Yeah.
everything comes alive. you know?
yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah,
it doesn't.
that would
Well,
work.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but no, if we can put it on, maybe not in February, maybe in March, so that way we can do the strategic planning, all that
And
stuff.
maybe the one Saturday a month, just during the summer.
Oh,
When it's not school.
and maybe instead of doing Saturday, do Friday evening instead. That might be the better option, but, in interest in time, Laura, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, all
I'll
right.
second that.
All right, any other discussion before we do that? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.